And this is why. Got a little gas leak.
I'm telling you guys, straight walls, those are a thing of the past.
So because I would say I'm at the very beginning stages of looking for my first home, all I've been seeing online is how bad the housing is that's currently being built. It seems like almost every option you could think of has some sort of pitfalls, several issues to go along with it. So it's starting to feel like more of a gamble if you do decide to choose a house. And at least with my personality, I'm a very risk-adverse person, so this has not made me happy at all while searching. So we have a lot of clips to go over today showing a whole host of problems and hopefully some of the solutions to those issues, along with some comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave it in the comments down below. But we're going to start off with the classic inspectors, where apparently you can't even make straight walls anymore.
I'm telling you guys, straight walls, those are a thing of the past. That's how they used to build houses, but we don't do that anymore. We don't like straight. It's too boring. We gotta get funky, you know what I mean? Change things up. Oh, it's like every single wall in this house. See? So that first clip was my morning inspection, and this is my afternoon inspection. See? It is a thing of the past. If you're buying a new house, don't expect straight walls. Or square walls, apparently. Well, you can't see this from the ground, but I'm happy I got up here because that is a nice water penetration spot. Here's the other side. Doesn't that look good?
I mean, I don't even really know what to say with that one. We could look at the comments. So what happens after this inspection? Do they have to redo it, or is it just whatever? Now, hold on to that comment for a little bit later in the video. We're going to talk about that a little more. The reason isn't the builder or the framer. It's that the business does not use killed and dried material any longer. Shrinking and warping happens after the home is painted and becomes temperature controlled. So they're using the absolute worst possible materials to make this brand new house. So much so that it starts warping the walls immediately. How would you ever have any sort of longevity in these houses then? Then we have a comment from one of you guys: a house built in 2025 shouldn't be a fixer-upper, and it's almost guaranteed now. Even with the real estate market starting to stagnate in certain areas, and it's not nearly as crazy as it was during COVID, people paying over asking and all that crazy stuff, none of the build quality, whether it's any of the construction workers or the materials that they're using, have gotten any better at all.
Just wanted to point something out to people that are buying houses right now. If your house is newly built and it is built during the rainy season, most likely they are using particle board or OSB instead of actual plywood. It's getting drenched, and then they cover it, put a roof on it, they put drywall up, and before you know it, you've got black mold in your house that you have never lived in. So if you just bought a new house, make sure that you are running a dehumidifier constantly for the first 6 months. Seriously, I cannot tell you how many houses I have seen that are brand new and they end up having mold issues because they are using the cheapest possible plywood they can get, and it rains, at least in Washington State, a lot. So keep that in mind. Hope this helps somebody avoid some serious illness. Black mold is no joke. Cheers.
Especially in Washington State, you know how expensive those new construction builds are going to be? And you're gonna get mold as soon as you move in. I have no idea how they'd be allowed to do this in the first place. Some of the comments here: new construction and minimal code requirements are a joke. That mobile home is looking better every day. And then another comment: the dehumidifier won't resolve black mold on any level. So I don't really know what to tell the people that move into those types of houses. But we have another comment from you guys: my husband and I lost out on several houses despite offering more money because we wouldn't waive an inspection. This goes for houses any age, not just the new construction. Stand your ground. It's not worth getting boned later. And we're starting to see tons of videos come out with exactly those problems. But like I said before, we are starting to see a little change in the real estate market. Houses aren't being sold before they're even built for over asking. A lot of them are just sitting, rotting away without anyone in it.
What are we supposed to do? The only higher density, more affordable housing that gets built is like this. they won't even lower the price. These are selling for $540,000. Got no yard, and you got the busiest street in town right here. And once again, back at those row houses that realtor was gonna sue me about. And check this out. It's been over 2 years that these have been listed for sale. And if you look down here, it looks like they actually took some of the signs down. Let's check it out. So I saw the sign was missing. I thought, man, after 2 years, one of these actually sold. Well, I cleared some of the snow, and it looks like it just fell off, and nobody's put it back on. Even their banner's falling down now. Man, how crazy is that? I've been making videos about these row houses for over 2 years now. And it seems, besides finishing some more of them, nothing's changed. They're still for rent and still for sale.
For $550,000, way over the median $400,000. And those were just townhomes. I'm looking at the listing now, $539,000, 3-bed, 3-bath with 1,700 square feet in Oregon again. So the last clip talking about the rain constantly could possibly have the same issues here when they were built. You never know. But we got another comment from you guys. When my brother was looking for a house, we went to about 3 dozen homes, and the worst ones were the overpriced new construction. And while we were walking in the new homes, I pointed out the problems, especially how cheaply they were built. He ended up buying an older 1940s home overlooking a farm valley for cheap. Now that is supposed to be the solution for many people, especially in the comments section. Just get an older house, even though it doesn't have the modern look and you'd probably have to do some renovations. Most likely the bones of the house are still in better shape, but as I've talked about with my parents' house being an older house, the amount of stuff my dad has had to replace doesn't mean that it's going to be cheap either. There's another comment talking about that a little bit later in the video as well, but we'll get into a little bit more of these statistics.
Breaking, U.S. home sales have fallen to the lowest level in 30 years. Things have not been this bad in over 3 decades. In 1995, that is before many people on this app were even born. Abysmal home sales in the U.S. are due to 2 reasons: high prices and high interest rates. High prices are due in part to the high interest rates because many people are very reluctant to put their homes on the market right now while interest rates are so high. That said, even when interest rates do go down further, housing prices are still far out of reach of many Americans. The median home in the U.S. costs well over $400,000 per year, causing many people to permanently give up on ever owning a home in the U.S., once considered a fundamental part of the American dream. One more important thing to add is that even though the Federal Reserve has been cutting interest rates, mortgage rates have continued to rise, topping an important threshold of 7% last week.
Just making it even harder to own a home in the first place, let alone having all the issues with something that you do purchase. Some of the comments are pretty funny though, but a realtor is going to tell you right now is the best time to buy. Of course, they want their commission checks. Well, what did they expect? And they're still not lowering the prices. Another common sentiment I've seen from many people: I need to get out of this country. I know most of the time it's not taken seriously, but if you do want to look up online, on YouTube, on TikTok, there are many Americans going to lower cost of living countries and permanently living there, completely done with the housing market we have to deal with because of the over $400,000 on average house. And we can look at this clip. This is exactly what you get for around the median price.
Y'all want to see what $425,000 gets you in Fort Collins? This is a townhome. At least they replaced the damaged steps, but not the patio. Now, settling usually is caused by moisture. And I see that they have a drainage pipe here, so where's that moisture coming from? And right over here, disconnected. Maybe a 25-year-old AC unit. That must be what the wizard's for. Keep it running. Well, we got some siding that's kind of sitting on here loose, aren't we now? Over here, we don't even have any. We can get some birds or rodents and go right up into your attic there. All right, so outside where we had that settling on the patio and the disconnected sub pump discharge, this is the other side. That's where that window was. Down here in this corner, that looks like it's possible moisture issues from the settling, but if we come up here, you see where they try to paint over it, but those water stains are still coming through ever so slightly. And what would we be without a good old loose toilet? Now we're on the inside. There's a skylight. Moisture damage covering it up. I wonder if they've corrected the issue or they're just covering it up to get through the sale.
Real quick, we could look at some of the comments, and yet someone will buy it. This economy doesn't make sense. So one of the solutions is purchasing an older house, which does come with its problems. Of course, still maintenance and upkeep could cost you a ton of money like my parents did. And another one of them is get one of these really good inspectors, because they could go through and absolutely rip apart the house and either get the issues fixed with the current owners, or you could haggle down a lower price for the final sale. However, I've found a couple issues with that. One of the comments from you guys, the issue is gotta find a home inspector that isn't in bed with the builder, who isn't in bed with the city inspector. There are many who are all in cahoots because they'll all give each other business. Everybody makes money and everything passes, and then the house sells and they could do it again and again and again, just start raking in checks. So what you'd possibly think, as ridiculous as it sounds, is maybe some of these content creator inspectors would be the best people to hire. I mean, unless you live near one of these people and they're open for business, it sounds pretty crazy to fly somebody out who's like this and they go through some of the houses you're looking at. But I've come across a little bit of inspector drama on TikTok where some people are going over homes that were recommended by other content creators, and in the end the builds were just as bad. So it's actually very difficult to find anybody to trust in this market right now.
His behavior has literally caused harm within the industry and also to ourselves directly as home inspectors to home inspectors.
Now, I can't tell you who the builder is, but I'm back here at Desert Oasis and actually followed behind a home inspector recommended by Preston, and I'm going to show you what I found. Now, you do need to be careful when you're hiring these home inspectors based off a referral list or a preferred vendors list, especially when they're paying to be on them. I have followed behind this home inspection company multiple times now, and the homeowners are the ones telling me they're finding nothing wrong. And in my opinion, these home inspection companies are treating new builds like a free paycheck. It's not just the dozens and dozens of cosmetic violations that they're missing obvious, serious issues.
Also, look at those huge gaps at the hangers.
I have spent a lot of my free time trying to show this builder about the shrinking wire insulation, and they still do not care enough to go fix all the homes. Tub and shower,
Improperly installed, and tub is cracked.
So we can look a little bit more into the comment section. Inspector Preston is way better. Just watch his videos and anyone can see it. However, it seems like he recommended another inspector who did not do a good job. So it kind of tarnishes a bit of the reputation on top of the list of recommended inspectors, most likely pushed on you by the real estate agent or the builders themselves because they're getting kickbacks from it and then everybody's making more money. Is he associated with Inspector AJ? That would be so disappointing. The creator said sadly yes. So at the end of the day, who are you supposed to trust? What are you supposed to do? I don't know. It just sounds pretty ridiculous to me. But we have a comment from one of you guys with an older house. My house is 115 years old. Bought it from my aunt. Had to put in a new furnace, new electric in the first year. In the last 20 years, I've had to put new sewer lines, roof, replace porch, windows, and water heater. It's a solid old house. Hopefully it could stay in the family's future. But in total, still very pricey. I would venture to guess it's still probably a better deal than getting something that was built a couple years ago, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be free. So we're going to jump back to the first comment in this video. So what happens after this inspection? Do they have to redo it, or is it just whatever? Now we have an update.
You guys remember this video?
It's a brand new house. You don't need your home inspected.
Well, here we are, months later, finished attic space. Yeah. Yeah. Who's surprised?
So now you possibly have to find an older home that is becoming more desirable with all of the bad new construction, and you have to sift through all of the bad inspectors that even could be trustworthy. They finally go through the property you're looking to purchase, they rip it apart, they find all the problems, and they make the owners or builders fix it. Then they come back a number of months later when everything was supposed to be perfect, and it's still just as bad. What are you supposed to do now at the end of the day? I really just don't get it. We can look at the comments. All of these inspection videos have convinced me I'm better off building my own house. Every time I come across this guy's videos, I sit and watch the whole thing. He really has shed a light on how valuable a home inspector really is. Again, you have to find an actual reliable one. We saw in a past video with people becoming house poor, somebody ended up paying $1,000 for the best Google rated inspector in the area. 5 stars, everything was perfect. It was really expensive, but it would have been worth it, and he missed a ton of stuff. I wonder if these builders feel any pride in their work. Doesn't really look like the case anymore. It's just a check building up all of this open land because so many people are moving to different states, getting out of the worst high cost of living areas, California, New York City, New Jersey, really a lot of the places in the Northeast in general, building entire towns in record time. But of course, that means quantity over quality. Here we have another comment from one of you guys. As a construction worker, everyone's in cahoots. The electrical inspector would rather be our friend than inspect our electrical, so he could have some kickbacks. I've been on a job where a power wire feeding the whole house wasn't properly connected, and that job passed inspection. Everything's for a check at the end of the day, apparently. Now, I think one of the biggest builder homes that most people know about, I actually have not gone over yet, so I wanted to take a look at some of the DR Horton build homes because they are just a mess.
Oh, hey, before you finish the flooring right there, there's a rock. Good. Yeah, it's good as new. Do this all the time. They literally never notice at the blue tape and they end up fixing it themselves. Their kids will have so much fun with that. Let's do it to all the doorknobs. Yeah, so I put this door stop in here, but I did it like 2 inches to the left. Yeah, so we've got one closet here that stretches the entire length of the main bedroom. And if you just don't stand too close to it, you won't feel anything. And it's not in the warranty, so they'll hit their wall every time. Visiting Uncle Joe at the asylum, and the walls painted the same color as drywall. And I said, you know what? Slap that on every house we build. I heard women like clothes, so I went ahead and threw in an extra closet here and no windows. Give them a coupon for 1 free gallon of Sherwin-Williams paint. I know we are considering these lights recessed. We don't work with things that aren't in the warranty. I want it to always encapsulate the vibe of a Bath and Body Works and a porta potty. However, that one is hanging down. They never look up during the blue tape walkthroughs, and that's not in the warranty, so I wouldn't worry about it. Do you know what I could do with 1 gallon of paint? Not a lot.
I don't think I need to go too in-depth. You've probably heard of all of the horror stories, but we could take a look at the comments. I'm a realtor, and the amount of crooked outlets I've seen on DR Horton homes is unbelievable. Friends don't let friends buy Ryan homes or DR Horton homes. We have Ryan homes at the end of this video. DR Horton is the Temu of home builders, and that also adds into a comment from one of you guys. We were going to buy a DR Horton in North Carolina. The inspection was crazy. Shifted foundation, gaps between the windows and walls and floors, like walking on a wave, while the roof had lifted shingles and electrical problems. Even HVAC wasn't working weeks before closing. And this is just the reality for so many people now. I bought a brand new build home last year, and just the absolute nightmare that comes with it. And at least in my area where I live in North Carolina, it's been built up very heavily over the past 10 years or so. So if you did want to start looking at an older home, maybe it did need some work, but the bones would be really good. They are unbelievably expensive around me now, because all the new construction homes around me look the exact same and still go for almost $500,000, if not more. Honestly, actually over $500,000. It's like $550,000. It's unbelievably expensive here. But the old, very well built homes around here are extremely desirable and just price out a majority of people. So there's not really too many options around me unless you're a millionaire. And I mean, at least in my situation, I'm luckier than most because everything that I do is online, so I actually could move. But if you had a job around here and you weren't able to move away, if you did want to buy something cheaper, there's not too many options around here. And that goes for many places all over the country. A good reason why people live where they live is because they're in the vicinity of their career, and they basically have to stay there and deal with the real estate market, because what other choice do they have? But some of the comments from this video, and they're still selling for $500,000, which is ridiculous to begin with. I'm so sorry. I'd sue the contractor. It's horrible. Stop Stop buying brand new, build an old fixer-upper and make it yours. These old homes still have a lot of love and life to give. Again, just like I said, hopefully you're in an area where those old homes that do need a little bit of work but are still nice aren't unbelievably expensive and desirable, but it just keeps getting worse.
All right, just starting this new construction inspection, and right when I walk up to the house, I feel like I smell gas. And this is why. Got a little gas leak. And it's like every wall in this house. Well, let's see if the air filter's dirty. What do y'all think?
Some of the comments, straight walls cost $750,000. You want all that fixed? It's now $850,000. And I think they're still getting away with it because even with the market not being as hot as it was, a lot of people still are buying these homes. And we have a comment from one of you guys, and yet these people that buy these homes try to flex on everyone else. The house you just bought for $1.2 million is made out of the cheapest materials, one big storm away from breaking apart. Because even though these houses all end up looking the same, most of them are huge. You could look like you're super wealthy even though in turn you're probably way poorer with how much money you've spent on the home, but you'd still be able to show off to your friends and family, look at my giant house that I bought. And some people are so desperate for that they don't actually read the contract and get just destroyed with the payments.
Guys, tell me why my mortgage went from, don't judge me here, $3,200 a month to $5,600 a month. Backstory here is I was looking for a house back in 2022, and I put in offers on multiple homes. So we decided to go, they got declined, and they wanted 50 to 60 grand over asking price for the homes with no contingencies and all that kind of stuff. Long story short, I bought a new home with Ryan Homes. The worst decision I've ever made in my life, I swear to God, and I am paying for it till right now.
So this is a Ryan Homes story we heard a little bit earlier in the video, very similar to DR Horton's. However, it ends up being this guy's fault more than Ryan Homes. We could look at the comment section. So the price of the mortgage went up that much because you bought a variable rate and the rates have gone up. Then taxes increased, and then insurance companies have gotten greedy and they have doubled their rates. I don't even know what I'd do. $3,200 is still a ton of money, but then going up to $5,600. And we saw earlier in the video, even with the Fed rate cuts, the interest rates are only going up. It's actually only going to get worse for this guy. And we have quite a long time until we see those unbelievable lows, if we ever do see those lows, like during COVID, and people were around the 3% mark. But that's all I got for you guys today. I have to keep looking online, searching for houses, pulling out my hair. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.